Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Good to see everybody in here. Thorn free, you number one girlfriend, you know it. Hey, holler boo, number two, number two. All right. Charlene, number three. There we go. And Miss Justice is number four. There we go. Oh, welcome. Oh, please remember to like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell. Amen. Absolutely. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Miss Justice. God bless. Um, hey Jane, how you doing, sweetie? Good to see you. Good to see you. Absolutely, absolutely. Summer Wells missing posters. Print them, still keep them out there. Keep them out there. Hey Linda, how you doing, sweetie? Wendy, Anna, Deputy, good to see you in here. Good to see all of you guys. See, I'm trying not to miss anybody as I go down the line. Lovely London, good to see you. Hey, Lynn, I didn't miss you, girlfriend. I didn't miss you. Hey, Joanne, good to see you. Oh, that is so sweet. Lovely London made Deputy Sheriff laugh. Hey, second to none. Good to see you, sweetie. Good to see you. Okay. Oh, let PG light one up. Trust me, I need it. I need it. PG's becoming the night owl, right? I'm becoming a night owl. Anyway, I gotta tell you guys. I gotta tell you guys something. This evening, PG, PG decided to do some some real cleaning, and something I ain't really had time for, right? With the baby and all, and I decided to, I'm gonna really do some deep cleaning, and I'm gonna tell you something. PG shouldn't be doing this stuff. I don't know if I'm too tired, maybe too stupid. All right, I don't know, but all I do know is I got out this cleaner, and it's the kind that you spray. And I'm gonna tell you something. That damn cleaner went on everything but what I was spraying it on. Next thing I know, it hit my eyes, had my eyes burning. I was like, oh my gosh, what the hell? Yeah. So you guys gonna have to excuse me tonight if I ain't if I'm not doing a lot of reading um in the chat and stuff, because yeah, uh only thing right. Only thing that deep cleaning did was backfire, right? It just backfired on PG. I'm like, son of a bitch. So that's how my day went, or at least my evening, right? At least my evening. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. Some days just ain't worth getting up for. Right? Some days ain't worth getting up for, you guys. That's the truth. I'll tell you. Uh, should be more like Lisa K. Right? More like Lisa. Now I'm starting to understand her. I'm starting to understand her. She's always in that damn bed. You save money. Right? You save money. You, that cleaning fluids don't fly back on you, and instead of going where you want it to. Right? Had a mind of its own. I throw that can of shit in the trash. For real. I threw that can of shit in the trash. I was like, what the hell? I don't even know why I bought it. I don't know why I bought it. I don't know why I bought it now. I know I bought it when I bought it, but I don't know why I bought it now. That damn can of shit had its own mind of its own, right? I'm like, I can't have, I got a mind of my own. I can't have, some can of cleaning stuff with a mind of its own. That ain't gonna work out. I tell you, it got the best of me. Right? I might do it in the trash, but it got the best of me before I did. This is one I won't. This is one I won't forget soon. Yeah, right. Right. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. Yeah, PG has been busy, busy, busy. I'm going to tell you, it's spring. It's springtime, right? Spring is here. It's in the air. And, still cold. Right? Still cold as hell. But, you just gotta, I get that spring cleaning fever, right? I want to clean everything. I want to clean windows. I want to clean everything. I want to, I have a need for cleanness. And I'm going to tell you, it didn't work out for me this evening. Somebody told me one time, said, why don't you just shut the door on this stuff and it'll be there when you get back, right? And I'm going to tell you, wish I'd have shut the door on it this evening. Right? I wish I would have took that good advice and just shut the door on it. Oh, absolutely, Teresa. Absolutely, sweetheart. You telling me. But I'm going to get right to it tonight. Let's talk about these red trucks. Because I've been thinking about the red trucks. Put a one in the chat if you've been thinking about these red trucks. Because these red trucks been on my mind. I can't be the only one thinking about damn red trucks here lately. I'm sure other people's been thinking about it too. And I have come to a conclusion. Are we looking for a red truck? Or are we looking at red trucks? As in, with the S on the end, instead of minus the S. What exactly have we been chasing? What have we been chasing? I don't know. I always heard, don't go chasing waterfalls. All right. Yeah. I don't chase waterfalls, but for 4.5 years, been chasing a red ghost truck, right? I've been chasing a fucking red ghost truck with ladder racks for 4.5 years. Pretty soon it's going to be 5. Pretty soon it's going to be 5 years, y'all. June 15th, 2026. 5 years, baby. 5 long years, right? 5 long years. We've been out here chasing a ghost truck. Right? Second to none. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And I've come to a conclusion. I think we're chasing a truck. For real. A truck. Like, not trucks, but a truck. Now, let me break this down for you guys. At the beginning of this case, a red truck was parked at the boss's house, right? Tucker. Don Wells' boss, Tucker. Put a one in the chat if you remember that. The red truck with ladder racks. I think it was JLR. Somebody had a drone and went over Tucker's place, and there was a red truck, a Tacoma red truck with ladder racks at the boss's house, right? You guys remember that? Absolutely. At the boss's house, there was a red truck with ladder racks. Now, let's put this, let's put this in perspective. It was at the boss's house, Tucker's. Now, then the red truck disappears, and it's at Jody Sue family's house right here. Right here. Now, put a 2 in the chat if you remember the red truck that was seen at Jody Sue Brown, right? Jody Sue Brown's, because Andy Bernard didn't marry her, right? He didn't marry her. So she stayed Jody Sue Brown. This new lady's with, her name is Bernard, right? I don't know what her first name is, but I know her last name's Bernard because Andy put a ring on that thing, right? He put a ring on the thing. And Jody Sue was pretty upset about that, wasn't she? Sad, but true. Yeah. Anyway, this red truck was there. And you remember in the yard of this place, there was like a ladder racks laying in the damn yard. Like they took them off the freaking truck and threw them in the yard. Remember that? I remember that because, I was like all over this. And I showed pictures and everything. Ladder racks in this yard, and right where this damn truck is, there was ladder racks in the yard, like they took them all off. Now, the next time we see, next time we hear about a red truck, right? Next time we're hearing about a red truck is Robin Lane buys a red truck off of a young guy, right? Off of this young guy. Supposedly this young guy who got it from his dad. Put a 3 in the chat if you remember that. Robin Lane's husband supposedly getting a truck from some young guy who got the red truck from his dad or his grandpa or some damn body. That's what I remember. Actually, she didn't. Her husband bought it off of a young boy. It wasn't her dad. It wasn't her dad's truck that her husband got. Her husband bought that truck off of a young boy. It's the story Robin told. Robin came on and she said out of her own mouth that she bought that truck off of some young kid, her husband did. And then a bunch of people were looking for the young guy that supposedly sold this truck to Robin's husband. And he supposed to got it from a family member. And Robin didn't get it from a family member. It was supposed to be gotten by the young guy that sold it supposedly got it from a family member. That's how the story that Robin told. And I remember it as plain as day, her telling the story about how they came about the red truck. And I remember a lot of the YouTubers reaching out trying to find, this young guy that supposedly had this truck. Well, what's really weird is,
about
Right here. Right here. This is a young guy. This guy right here is Van Hill Road. This guy right here is Paul Hill's son, right? Frank. His name's Frank Hill. Daddy had the red truck. Are we talking about the same truck? Are we talking about the same truck that was in one truck that was in the boss's driveway that somehow got to Jody Sue's family, that took the ladder racks off of it, that ended up in the hands of Paul Hill, which ended up in the hands of this guy, which ended up in the hands of Robin? Is this one truck being passed around? Is it some kind of fucking game? Is it some kind of game where they're passing one red truck around to different people for law enforcement to be able to chase it? Is it part of their mind manipulating fucking games? Because to be honest with you, it sounds like it might be. And if it is, that's a pretty good damn game, right? Have law enforcement chasing one truck. That would make law enforcement look stupid. Totally stupid. Now, and what makes me believe that it could be the same truck, that was at the boss's house, that ended up at Jody Sue's mother's house, because all of these people know each other. And then it ends up, at this guy's daddy's place, and then it ends up in Robin's husband's hands. Yeah. I mean, honey, my voice always rattles. My voice, it's probably not the microphone. It's probably my voice. Right? It's probably my voice. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's probably PG's voice. I got one hell of a strange voice, don't I? But anyway, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that it could be, it would be genius, absolutely, to have law enforcement, running after one damn truck all over the place. It's like, ring, ring, ring. Hey, Pruitt, I seen a red truck at Tucker's place. Let's go check it out. Ring, ring, ring. Tucker, I don't think the truck's at Tucker's place anymore. Seen it at Jody Sue's mama's house. Ladder rack's gone now. They're laying in the yard. Go check it out. Ring, ring, ring. Hey. Hey, Pruitt, listen. Red truck. I'm going to tell you where it's at now. It's on Van Hill Road. Right? Ring, ring, ring. Robin Lane's husband just ended up with a red truck. All right. One truck took down, passed around. Ring, ring, ring. Hey, Pruitt, what the fuck's going on? Why you been chasing one fucking truck for 4.5 years? Right? And you still can't find it. Right? And you still can't find the damn red truck. Right? Pruitt's chasing waterfalls. Poor Pruitt. Oh, shit. But here we go. And this is why I think, this is why I'm thinking this, because, clearly the most recent public development in the case, Summers case, came on November 13th. Agents and detectives following a lead, 3500 block of Van Hill Road, right? Up southwest of Wells House. There you go. TBI Public Affairs officers, Lizzie Lee Earnhardt, said there is no more information to give about the lead. Anyone with information is to call this number. There's no more information. No more information. Red truck, hot potato, got dropped. Right? Got dropped. They can't find it. They've been chasing it for 4.5 years. Went from Pruitt's, Jody Sue's mommy's, where the ladder racks got removed, over to Van Hill Road, which was, sounds like it got sold to Robin. And then and then law enforcement Robin marks it off, right? She marks it off the flyer. And do you remember that? Put a 1 in the chat if you remember Robin marking it off the flyer. Could it be because she had it? And she knew she had it? Oh, I got the damn truck, right? It went from the boss's house to Jody Sue's mama's house where ladder racks were removed, to Van Hill Road, to Robin Lane. I'll mark it off. I got the truck. Yeah, makes perfect damn sense, you all. It makes perfect sense. We ain't been chasing red trucks. I think we've been chasing a red truck. I think we've been chasing a damn game that these mother freakers have been playing, because this is a group of people, not an isolated, Deminant family up on 110 destroying their own children. This ain't an isolated case to 110 Ben Hill Road where you have Grandis, Candace, and Donald with, mental health issues that, caused them to abuse and destroy one of their children, to the point the other 3 got taken away, and all the neighbors are whispering, oh, wow, didn't know that was going on up there. I mean, we knew something was going on. We knew those people weren't right, but oh, damn, didn't know all of this. It ain't all the neighbors whispering that. Up there, you got the neighbors, whispering, all right. They're whispering, come on over. Yeah, I'm here. Do you got the stuff? Right? Do you got what it takes to sedate little girls so they can be touched, Andy? Yeah, I got the stuff. I'll be over in a minute. I'll be waiting for you. Hey, Fred, you got any of that stuff we like to do? I've been back in the woods. I've been back in the woods cooking up some good stuff. So sure have. Well, when you want to come down? You want me to come down there, or you want to come down here? Maybe I should come. Do you got a bathroom? You have a bathroom? We got a damn bathroom, but you can't flush the damn toilet. When you wipe your ass, you got to throw it in a bucket next to the toilet. And it don't smell too good in there, man. I don't care. I ain't even got a bathroom. I ain't even got one, damn it. It'd be nice just to be able to go into a bathroom without driving to the next county. Right? I was going to the bathroom the other day and I ran out of gas. I ran out of gas before it got to Kingsport. We live in a 1-horse town. I was going over into a place that's got 2 horses. Man, why don't you just, crap where you eat? Won't you just crap where you eat? You said you're out in the woods cooking. Right. I'm going to tell you, that's the shit you're hearing down there. This is conversation on Ben Hill Road, right? Conversation on Ben Hill Road. For real. And that, and all these people know everybody. They all know each other. Don Wells, what Don Wells say? Ho, 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 ho. Listen. My boss called me the other day. My boss called me. He said, why'd you sell a video? Why'd you sell a video for $5,000? You're making me look like, and we all know what, right? We all know what. Hoo, 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 hoo. Well, Don Wells implicated the boss where the red truck was originally seen that disappeared. It seemed to show up at Jody Sue's place, right? At Mommy's house. Ladder rack seemed to be laying in the yard. A fast get the ladder racks off. Next thing we know, red truck ends up on Van Hill Road, which all of a sudden Robin Lane's husband ends up with one from some young guy, which there's a young guy up there. And she marched the red truck off the flyer as I got the red truck and I know it. Right? It ends here. It ends here. She basically, she's basically saying that, the red truck went around the world and it ends here. Me and my husband have it. Mark it off the flyer. I think it's a fucking game. Straight up. I think these people's been playing with people from day one because they're a bunch of, in my opinion, a bunch of freaking weirdos. That's just my opinion. I'm allowed to have it. They all seem to be three sheets in the damn wind, if you ask me. You put them all together, and you still wouldn't have a fucking brain, a real brain, between the lot of them, right? Not even one real brain between the whole lot of them. And I'll tell you why. Because if any of these motherfuckers had a brain, they wouldn't be affiliating themselves with one another, right? You don't affiliate yourself with trash like that if you got a real brain. So you can't have a real brain if you're affiliating yourself with garbage. If you're affiliating yourself with people that don't have bathrooms, people shitting in barrels, people that's going up there swishing it around like they're trying to make poop soup, right? People who have a bathroom but have to throw the toilet paper in a bucket. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Just wipe and throw it in a bucket. And they ain't got no potpourri, right? They ain't got no fucking potpourri to make it smell any better. These are mother freakers that's, feeding their kid $1 pizzas a day. Here's your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. $1 pizza from the dollar store. You're lucky. You feel lucky if you don't have to share it. Right? Sometimes they probably only got 2 pizzas and said, you guys need to share. Cut them in half and everybody gets a piece. Fat Candace might have ate one. She might have ate one for herself and told the other 4 kids, cut it in 4. And you guys each get a slice. Right? And Don ain't hungry. He done drink the whole damn jug of milk. That's why nobody else had any. He done drank the whole thing. Right? Kids don't get no milk. Kids don't need no milk. Plenty of water. Plenty of water. I don't know what kind of water. Right? I mean, you got people across the road making poop soup. You got people down the road that don't even have a bathroom. Just imagine where they're, where all their crap's going. Probably right in the stream, right? Merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream. Poo-poo and pee-pee going down the stream. Yeah. And that stuff, where does it go? It goes to the main water supply. And where does the main water supply go? Out the faucet. Would you want to be drinking that? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. I'm going to tell you something. That's why I buy bottled water, right? That's why I buy bottled water. I don't like it. It ain't got, it ain't got everything in it like good water, good water supposed to have. It ain't got all the iron and minerals and everything that regular water would have out of the sink. And that's why you have to take a bunch of damn supplements, right? You have to take a bunch of supplements because you're afraid to drink out of it. You're afraid to drink out of the damn sink. You're scared. What the hell's coming out of there? Just saying. Yeah, if you want to drink, you want to drink sink water, you got to boil it. You got to boil it first. Then pour it in a pitcher. Then stick it in the damn refrigerator. Right? Put ice in it. That's what I'm talking about. Too much work. Too much work. You go to the store, you just pick up bottled water, throw it in the freezer. Then once this cold, you throw it in the refrigerator. There you go. There you go, cold water. A lot easier. But as you see, and they're not answering the phone. They're not answering the phone. The Hawkins County Sheriff Officer could not be reached, for comments on Wednesday. They cannot be reached. They're not even answering their phone. I think they might have figured out they've been chasing one truck for 4.5 years. One truck. And how do you comment on that? How do you comment on that? Well, first of all, we went up on Ben Hill Road, June 15th, 2021. Well, really it all started. This is the brief conference. That we're going to put out there. It all started with the phone call. We was told the little girl walked away from her house. She was down on the road, trying to go to the dollar store to get a pizza. She didn't want to share. Mom got 2 pizzas. She ate one, took the other one, 4 pieces, and the little girl was like, she's too hungry. The piece of pizza was so good, she wanted to go to the dollar store and get herself another one. So she's walking down the road around 4 o'clock. Around 4 o'clock, she's walking down the road. Oh no, wait a minute. It wasn't 4 o'clock. She was seen on the road at 6:30. 6:30, she's walking down the road. And we're still looking for her. That's where it all started with the phone call because, and then we went up there, and when we got there about 6:45, we got there about 6:45, and at 6:45, with nobody seeing little girl on the road, as the police were going into Ben Hill Road, they didn't see any little girls on the road. So we went up there and we really dropped the ball. We got lots of police officers up there and kind of like destroyed all the evidence. And we heard about a red truck. And we've been chasing that red truck for 4.5 years now, and we're just coming to a conclusion that we've been chasing one damn red truck for 4 years, and now we don't know where it's at. We have no idea what happened to the red truck. See, it was at the boss's house first. Then they took it to Jody Sue's house and took the ladder racks off. That's what threw us off, is when they took the ladder racks off. Because then it went over to Van Hill Road, which we drove by it probably a lot of times and didn't even take note that it was there. And then somehow Robin Lane ends up with it. She crosses it off the flyer. We thought that was very suspicious, but we didn't know why it happened. We didn't really ask. But then we went back to Van Hill Road and we tore the hell out of the guy's house and his barn, and we was all over his property, and we even went over to his son's property and dug up in the, where pigs were laid to rest. Yeah, we was over there where the pigs were laid to rest. We was digging up pigs, and we didn't find anything, so we decided not to talk about it. We didn't want to talk about it, that we standing out there pulling up, pigs from their peaceful resting places. What the hell? Yeah. That's pretty much the way that's why they're like, nah, we ain't answering the phone. We ain't giving no press conference. We're not making no statements. Hell no. Right. They can't, how are you going to come out here and tell people that? How are you going to tell people that? I'm looking in Messenger. I don't see Oh, okay. Okay. I just received a picture. Um I just received a picture. Yeah, I know who Eyes is. Um I sent me a picture, and it has Mickey, which is Robin Lane's husband, um on the red truck. He had it. He was holding up a dare. He was holding up a dare in the back of this truck, right? Um, and it looks like the same truck that got took down and passed around. That's what I'm saying. I truly believe this is the same exact red truck that we've been chasing for 4.5 years. Um, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. 4.5 years we've been chasing the red truck, right? And I truly believe that Robin Lane ended up with with the truck. Now I'm going to tell you something. There was a witness um, that actually, you guys all heard. You all heard, you know, the witness that I had a phone conversation out here with this witness that had seen that said they thought that they had seen Summer Wells in a store, right? They came in the store here, they, stop. There's a little girl, they're staring straight at her. They believe it was Summer. There was a man in the store that took note that the little girl was being stared at by this particular witness. And he immediately, you know, came and whisked the little girl away, which he looked like Mickey. He looked, like what the witness told law enforcement was this guy looked like Robin Lane's husband, Mickey, and the little girl looked like Summer Wells, right? That's what law enforcement was told. Law enforcement said they were going to look into it. They didn't ever get back with this witness on what they found or if they followed up, or, the witness heard nothing back from what they had seen. But Robin Lane and her husband Mickey ends up with a Tacoma, just like the one that was at the boss's house, just like the one that was on Van Hill Road, just like the one that was at Jody Sue's, right? The boss's house, Jody Sue's house, ladder rack removed. It ends up over on Van Hill and then somehow ends up in the hands of Robin Lane's husband. Now, let us remember, Robin Lane was besties with Candace from day one of Summer's disappearance, right? Day one. And she's always acted, airheaded, right? Like some dizzy, airheaded blonde. Like she's playing the role, right? Of Chrissy off of Three's Company, right? Like she's playing the role of this Chrissy with her ha ha ha, I'm so stupid. I'm just so, out there role. And, and she played it, with through the whole thing. Through the whole thing. She has played this role of some airheaded blonde, right? Some dizzy blonde that, that everything's just, flying over her head and she's not catching any of it through this whole entire, 4.5 years. And you got to wonder about that. And you got to wonder, Dawn and Candace, Candace was just in the church today, right? She was just at church today, Saturday church, playing her games, right? Playing her game. Usually she's fucking sleeping, right? Usually Candace is, sleeping. But not today. She wasn't sleeping today. She was, there playing freaking peekaboo, right? She was there playing peekaboo. There she is. There she is, Can you see me? Peekaboo. Now I got 2 eyeballs. Peekaboo. You see me now? Oh, hell yeah. And it scared the shit out of us. Right? Look at that. Yeah. We wish we didn't. But yeah, we did. We saw that face. Oh, my God. Thank God, thank God for the blur. Thank God for the blur. Because I wouldn't have wanted to get I wouldn't want to got a clear picture of that. The blurred one was bad enough. Look at it. It's like, whoa, back up. Right? Think your chair's going to fall over. Right. Why is she filming in church? Because, that's what she was showing everybody she could stay awake. She was showing everybody, that she could stay awake, that, that she wasn't, she wasn't, there she is. Look at that. Look at her. Look at her fucking peeking. Look at her peeking at the fucking camera and shit. She like all peeking like, how many people's watching? Let me see. How many people watching me? What are they saying? Let me see how many's in the chat. Okay, I'm gonna look back up here. No, peekaboo again. Let me see. She's playing her fucking games. Look, everybody, I can stay awake. Let me look at the phone again. Who's watching? Any more come in? Yeah, she's at church. She ain't focusing on the preacher. People who really go to church, to hear the word of the Lord, to hear God's word, they turn off their phone. You walk into a church house, you take off your hat, right? You take off your hat. You sit down. You make sure you take your Bible. You don't leave your Bible at home. You take your Bible. You take yourself. You take your Bible. You go to church. When you walk in, if any men are wearing a hat, they make sure they take it off. Respect. Anybody with phones, you turn it off or you turn it to vibrate, right? So it don't ring. You don't want, everybody in the church house to, hear, get down, turn around, go to town, boot, scoot, boogie. You don't want them to hear that ringtone. Right? You don't want the church to hear, we were both, booties banging on the bathroom floor. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. You don't want the church to hear this? You know? I mean, you don't want to. There'd be like, who's calling you? Right? Like, who's calling you? Yeah. You have respect. You turn, you turn that thing off until church is over, right? And you don't turn it back on till you get in your car. When you go get in your car and you're ready to leave, you turn your phone back on. Because you don't even want to, because you don't want that phone going off outside. You don't want it even going off outside the church, because all these church people, like, you be on your way to your vehicle, right? You're on your way to your vehicle. You already, shook hands with the preacher, and you already, and his family, and you came outside, and cousin this and aunt that done came running up to you, and your friend over here and your friend over there came talking with you, and and everybody's gathering around everybody, and and now you're on your way to your car, and you think you're safe, right? You think you're safe because nobody's around you. It's just you and your family, finally walking to the car, and all of a sudden, pop out of nowhere, just pops out of nowhere. Somebody's like, hey, I ain't seen you in a long time. What's up? Good to see you guys here. And it's like, you want them to hear you want them to hear the ringtones you got on your. I don't want them to hear my ringtones. That's for sure. I don't want them to wonder who's calling PG, right? I don't want them knowing. I don't want nobody looking at me like, oh, who's that? Right? You got, you know who it is. They don't. But the point being is, you got to wait till you're safe in your vehicle and you turn your phone back on. And then, it doesn't matter what bangs out, right? Don't matter what bangs out on your way home. Nobody cares. Everybody's already heard it that's in your vehicle. But Candace, no. She got her phone out at church playing fucking peekaboo, like scary ass peekaboo, right? Like scary fucking peekaboo. Man, with people. Like, oh, only the eyeballs, and you can tell how evil they are looking into the phone at you. It's like, what the hell? What the fuck she doing? Right? Then she does it again. It's like, man, this shit getting scarier by the second. Right? Then all of a sudden she pops her whole face out at you. It's like, whoa, what the fuck was that? Yeah. I'm going to tell you, shit like that keeps me awake at night. Like, why the fuck you be playing like this? You need to stop that shit. Go to sleep, right? Go to fuck to sleep. Like this. This is what you look like in church, Candace. What the fuck you be looking like this for? Why you be looking like that? That's my question. I always see you like this. I seen you like this in church. I seen you like this at the Dr. Phil show. I seen you like this at a fucking park. I seen you like this all the time. All the fucking time. This is you. I seen you like this in your fucking backyard. Right? In her own backyard, she'd be looking like this. That bitch look like this all the time. Not today. Not today. She'd be looking like this shit. Peekaboo. Like scary shit. Look at this. Look at that. All of a sudden, like, some freaking Freddy Krueger shit. Whoa. Yeah. That's just scary stuff right there, man. That's like, I'm like, whoa, it's like the fucking Shining, like the Shining all over again, right? Here's Johnny. What the hell? Yeah. Just saying. I don't even know what's up. I don't even know what's up with this shit. I'm thinking about a red truck. The last thing I needed to see is Candace at church. Mother freaking playing some scary peekaboo shit, right? With people. I'm like, I don't know about this. I don't know about this, you guys. Yeah. Weird. Just weird shit. And you know, I'm going to tell you another thing. I want to tell you guys, I'm going to bring some more stuff to the attention. Because here we go. I got it. I got it all. Here we go. Right here. Right there. Right there's the place. This is Jody Sue's mama's. Right? Jody Sue's mama's. There it is. There's truck. Hold on, y'all. There's Jody Sue's people right here. This is Jody Sue's people. All hanging out and shit. There's Laterax. There you go. There you go. Right out in the damn yard. It's the Laterax. And they got some other, this is some kind of, I don't even know what the fuck that is. I don't even know what it is. But there you go. There you go. It looks like the same mother freaking truck. The same truck that Robin Lane got her paws on. Same truck, Van Hill Road. Same truck, driveway of the boss. I'm telling you, I really think it's the same damn truck that's been, got down, passed around, and it's a game. It's a game. They got law enforcement chasing the same damn red truck. How freaking weird is that? Right? I can't believe it. 4.5 years. 4.5 years. And they wasn't able to figure this one out. 4.5 years, they didn't figure it out. I mean, like, I want to tell you, when something gets on my mind, when something starts bothering me, like this red truck has over the last few weeks, I got to go put the puzzle together, right? I got to do some research. I got to do some looking into things. I got to get nosy, right? That's what I do. I got to get nosy. I got to try to figure out what the hell's going on here. I mean, there ain't this many fucking red trucks, Tacoma, red trucks, the same fucking color. Like, they're all, it's not candy apple red. It's like, it's like a somebody, like a sun faded, like a damn sun faded the hell out of red truck. And there's not, there's not going to be 4 or 5 of these damn things looking exactly alike, running around in the same fucking circle of people involved in a little missing girl's case. That's absurd to even think of. Right? That's absurd to think of. I'm thinking, oh, hell no. I mean, you got one at this place, you got one at the other place, you got one you know, at this place, and then you got this church lady marking it off all of a sudden, like it stops here. I'm like, it's got to be the same truck. This has been a damn game. This has been a runaround. Brilliant. Oh, yes, brilliant. Absolutely. I'm going to tell you, these people, you're messing, you know, you're messing with some very evil-minded, manipulating. These fuckers are very cunting, you know. There's something to be reckoned with, right? The average person, you know, wouldn't take the time to overthink this. You know, the average person wouldn't take the time to put in, you know, everything it takes to figure this one out. We did. We took the time. We took the time to research. We took the time. You know, we go the extra mile for summer. We took the time to, you know, go back and look into all this shit. And we took the time to ask ourselves, how, you know, what's the odds? What's the odds of 4 fucking trucks identical to each other showing up in the same place surrounding one little girl's case? Well, the odds are slim to fucking none. Right? That's like everybody owning a Cadillac Escalade. A purple Cadillac Escalade. Around one missing child's case. What would be the odds of everybody owning a fucking purple Cadillac Escalade around a missing child's case? Slim to fucking none. It would have to be the same Escalade, right? Purple Escalade with a pimple on his ass. Yeah, had to be the same one. This is one red truck with a pimple on his ass, and it's made as rounds. It's made as rounds, right? To all of these people. So, what is Robin Lane's part in all of this? What is her part in all of this? I kind of felt she played a part. The way she acts so fucking stupid. The way she hung with Don and Candace, you know. She was like that, you know, kind of ride and die shit, right? Really going hard for him. Still is. I'm going to tell you something. I tell you this. If number one suspects in a missing little girl's case, like Don and Candace, for instance, was coming to, coming to our church. They were coming to our church. And all of a sudden, they become number one suspects in a missing little girl's case. A little girl who attended our church, right? Attended our church that we were very fond of, that we liked and was very fond of. And this little girl completely comes up missing. The parents are playing games the way Don and Candace are. Instead of asking for the church's help to find their child, they're standing up there asking for forgiveness. I'm going to throw them out on their ass. I'm going to tell them you're not welcomed at this church because you're number one suspects in a missing child's case. And the people here just don't feel safe having you attending here around their children. Right? Once you get this case, once you get yourself cleared, when law enforcement comes out and says, that they cleared you, that you're no longer suspects in your own daughter's missing case, that, indeed, something happened that, didn't involve you two in it, then, if you like to return, great. If you don't, I'll understand. But right now, I have a congregation and a lot of children here to protect. And we just, we can't have number one suspects walking in here around other people's children when you can't clear yourself of, the child that's missing. I hope you understand. I just wouldn't allow them to come to the church. They would not be welcomed. Right? Because I truly would feel that I'm putting other people's children in jeopardy. That's how I would feel. I mean, I think God would understand. Because, if I can understand the liability of having these people inside our church house, then I think God could understand as well, right? I just don't trust them. I don't trust them. But for this church to continue to allow these people to show up there and put other people's children at risk, I mean, I know people like to say, well, you don't know if they did it or not. You're right. You don't know if they did it or not. I hear people say that. How can we judge someone if we don't know if they did it or not? Well, you judge them by you don't know. And if they did, you're putting everybody at risk. And the way they're playing games, and the way they're not doing anything to get their kids back, and the way they're not doing anything to find their daughter, and they're walking up in here asking for forgiveness instead of help to find a child that's supposedly missing, you pretty much, you pretty much understand that they must have had all to do with it, because they're more or less telling you that when they're not asking you for any help to find the child is supposedly missing, when they're asking for forgiveness instead of help, when they're telling law enforcement where she isn't. And if you tell somebody where she isn't, then you must know where she's at. So everything's pointing to, they're guilty as fucking hell. And more than likely, they are. And you got other people's kids in here, possibly at risk, because if they could do their own child like that, then what would stop them from doing someone else's? Right? So you're putting everybody at risk up in that church with these sickos being in there, affiliating themselves with other people's kids. I mean, when you let people into, would you let them into your home? If you ain't going to let them into your home, you probably shouldn't let them into your church, right? Common sense right there. Common sense. If you ain't going to trust them inside your home, then why are you trusting them inside of a church? Just saying. Yeah, absolutely. They did some kind of class at this church where they told all the children to go hide and the adults was going to find them. Who in the hell does that? Who in the hell tells a bunch of children to go hide and us adults? It reminds me of the red shoe. Of the red shoe gang. Right? That supposedly is being played by, put a 1 in the chat if you've heard about the red shoe game, where very rich people all meet up. They all meet up in like a big mansion, like a big place. And they have these children that they, and all the kids are wearing red shoes. And the kids are told to go hide. And then these SAers go and find these kids. These kids are hiding. They're hoping not to be found. And the game is that these old SAers go looking for the kids and find them. And when they find them, well, I don't think I got to say anything else about when they find them. Right? Yeah. This is a game that supposedly is, that is being played. And then these very rich people would, out in Hollywood and in the rich districts, they would be wearing red shoes, and they would all know what the red shoes was about, that they knew each other. They knew each other, what game they play by, it was an inside joke amongst these people playing this game to wear red shoes in public. So they knew each other, right? Very, very disgusting. Very disgusting. When you ask how sick can humans get, how damn sick can human beings get? Well, I don't know. Because every day I'm learning something freaking. I thought I knew it all, to find out I don't. I thought I knew how sick humans could possibly get, only to find out that hell no. It was way past my understandings of how disgusting evil humans can be. And I probably ain't really heard shit yet compared to what, to the truth of what's out there and the stuff that they do. A lot of stuff going on in our world. A lot of stuff going on in our world. And, we know nothing about it. We know nothing about it, and pray to God we don't. And we pray to God we don't ever know anything about it. Because if you know about, if you hope to God you don't ever know about this shit, because most of the time, if you do know, you're probably going to be the victim or a victim of it, right? Somehow, you're going to learn the hard way, right? You're going to learn the hard way, and you don't want to learn the hard way. So, the people who learned the hard way, has came out and told. They came out and told, all of these missing kids. Somehow, they talk to detectives, they talk to, inside people, and they found, and it leaked out. It leaked out what they believe is happening to these, to these kids that's being taken, and the trafficking stuff, right? The trafficking stuff. And this is what the parents are hearing, right? They're hearing that we believe your child was, put into, this thing, and this, and this is the stuff that goes on, when they take these kids, and more than likely your child is not with us anymore. And this is what the parents are hearing. They became victims to it. Their child became a victim. They became victims. And then they came out basically telling what they were being told by, by the people, investigating the case. And private eyes and stuff that were, fed the feds and stuff that's on the inside, where all of this stuff's leaking, and they're getting knowledge of what's going on. So they bring it back. And then these parents, are mentally traumatized, and they come out and tell it. And then we hear it. That's when we hear it. And we're like, what? What the hell? And yeah, and it's so far-fetched. It is so far out there that you don't even want to believe it. You don't want to believe that this shit is real. It don't even sound real. It sounds like, some psychotic person made this shit up and said this kind of stuff, and there's no truth to it. But there is truth to this trafficking and this evil stuff that they're doing, and and all of this stuff. It's real. It's real. There is some really sick, evil human beings amongst us, folks. And that's why every single day you got to stay safe. You got to keep an eye. You got to keep an eye on your people all the time. You got to watch them. You got to keep them safe. It's hard, but you got to do everything you can to keep the people you love safe. It's just the way it is. This is an evil world. And I'm going to tell you something. Children are the prey. Teenagers are the prey. Young adults are the prey. And I don't know what happened in the Nancy Guthrie case. I have no idea what happened there. That's a whole new ball game. That's a whole new ball game. If it's just starting. It's just starting. If this is random, If this is random, I don't think it is. I think it's an inside, operation where Nancy Guthrie is concerned. But if it isn't, oh my word, right? I don't even know what to say. I don't know. When 80-some-year-old women are not safe, God have mercy. God have mercy. I don't know what this world's turned into when 80-some-year-old women start looking sexy to who knows what, right? I don't even fucking know. I don't know what to say for that. I don't know what to say. That's disgusting. Well, I did stumble upon one YouTuber, the only one that seems to be brave enough to talk about Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you've heard him. If you know who I'm talking about. If you know who I'm talking about, put a 1 in the chat. He's but he's the only YouTuber that, brave enough to talk about this, the son-in-law. He said that the son-in-law, that just a few weeks before Nancy went missing, I guess Annie and the son-in-law had gotten power of attorney over Nancy. That's what I'm hearing. I don't know. Now, I don't know. I'm just hearing that supposedly they got power of attorney. I also heard that the son-in-law, Annie's husband, the son-in-law, was in some type of band. And he met these people in the band, they met up online. Like, somehow they met up through online access with each other. And I heard one of the ones in the band has a very long record, right? A very long record with law enforcement. One of the band people have, a long record with with law enforcement. And according to this YouTuber, according to this particular guy, one of the band members that had the very long record actually meets the qualifications, as in weight, height, hair color, mustache, beard, all the stuff. He meets all the qualifications of the guy who was on the front porch of Nancy's house, right? So put a 1 in the chat if you've heard this, because that's what I was hearing. Now, how true it is, I don't know. I don't know how true it is. I thought law enforcement was supposed to have cleared the family, like all the family. So I don't know. But this is what this YouTuber was saying. Do I agree? Well, yeah, I agree that he's on to something. Yeah, I agree that it's I think it's an inside job, right? In my opinion, it's an inside job. Absolutely. I mean, who else would know that her dog had just died and wouldn't be barking to alert her? Who else would have knew that? Right? Who would have known? Who would have known where all the cameras were in order to smash them? Who would have knew all the stuff that this particular person knew. Who would have known right where her bedroom was? Who would have knew to go in and go straight to her bedroom to do what was done? Just saying. I don't know. I don't know. So, yeah, Nancy's still missing. They turned the home back over to the family now. They've cleared out. All of law enforcement has cleared away from Nancy's home. They no longer have her house, under surveillance and everything. They've all cleared out. They've already scaled back. There's only a few detectives on it now, not all the people like they was. And, and it sounds like it's going the way that all unsolved cases go, right? It sounds like it's going in the very direction that all unsolved cases go. It's a big thing at the beginning, and then, and then within a week or two, it's old news. It's old news. Yeah, they got surveillance. They got the family. Nancy's family. I believe her daughter. Savannah. I believe Savannah is the one who had all the Savannah and her brother. I believe had all their surveillance put up at the house. They had a security company come in and put cameras everywhere on Nancy's property so that they can watch it from their phones. That should have been done before. That should have been done before Nancy went missing, right? Her children should have been able to open up the cameras at her house and talk to her. They should have been able to open the cameras up at her home and seen everything. They should have been able to see if her alarm system was set or, not set every night. They should have been able to set her alarm system from their phones in case she forgot. I don't understand her children. I don't understand her kids because, she went to her daughter Annie's house for dinner. Annie has her husband take her mother home and drop her off. She doesn't even go. She doesn't even go with them, from my understandings. Her husband doesn't go in the house with her to make sure she gets in safe, right? She gets out of the car. He pulls away, leaves her standing out there to go in on her own. They don't, she's 80 some years old and they do not help her. She's dependent, right, on a cane or a walker or something. And yet they don't help her into the house. They don't check the house, make sure everything's locked up, secure before they leave. Turn on the alarm, look, grandma, you need to turn the alarm system on. You need to stay safe. We'll check on you first thing tomorrow. They didn't, these weren't people who, these are not people who check on their family I mean, her daughter Annie should have called. You know, if she didn't go with her husband to drop her mother off, she should have called her mother, made sure her mother got in the house safe and everything locked up, and that she was okay, right? Um, I don't know. I don't know, you guys. That's, you know, I can see you're not really for the truth. What's the truth to you? Always. Always, Mercy. What's the truth for you? What's the truth for you? Why don't you tell your truth? You're so quick to judge other people saying they're not looking for the truth. Why don't you tell us your truth? Don't come back. Stay and explain yourself. Don't be a coward. Don't run off. Stay here. Explain yourself. What is the truth? What do you believe is the truth? Huh? Yeah, she has. She put her house in hock. I heard that she had nothing. That's what I was hearing. I was hearing her house was, completely in debt. Um, just everything was in debt, right? I heard, but I did hear that she had a husband or something that left her a pretty good sum, and you got to wonder, where did it go, right? Where's all? I heard she was keeping up that Annie and her husband. Always Mercy. Uh, Always Mercy just decided to skip out because she says, you know, somebody's looking for the truth. Um, I don't think Always Mercy knows what the damn truth was, right? And that's my opinion. That's my opinion. Always Mercy just got a steel toe boot in the ass. Don't come in here and tell PG that I don't look for the truth, baby, because I'm going to tell you what, I have no problem facing the truth. I'm always seeking the truth. And I'll tell you something, when you seek the truth, you'll find it. Right? You'll find it. You know, I haven't overly um covered I haven't overly covered Nancy's case out here. Matter of fact, um the last couple of months, um well, about the last month, I haven't been out here a lot doing anything. Um Not even Summer's case, because I've been staying so tired, right? I stay tired. Um, Taking care of a newborn is a lot of work, right? It's a lot of work. And and I wanted to tell you guys while I'm thinking about it. Um, did everybody hear about Jinkies? Jinkies, rumor has it, Daisy's sister Jinkies. Um, I guess from what I'm hearing, supposedly she's got stage 4, right? Stage 4. And I just want to ask you guys to keep the prayers going up for her, right? Um, keep the prayers going up for her because this has got to be scary. It's got to be hard. It's got to be real hard. And it's, and I'm sure she's very afraid, what's going on and everything. And stage 4 is nothing to play with. My husband was stage 4. He was stage 4 and did not make it. So, and I'm going to tell you, it spreads it means, usually stage 4 means it's spreaded. And if it spreads, it's, depending on where it spreaded is going to determine your fate or not. So I don't know, but you know what? Miracles happen, you guys, and prayer works miracles, right? Prayer works miracles. So keep those prayers going up for Jinkies, and just be there. That's all you can do. That's all you can do for anyone is to pray and be there for them. And right now, I'm sure she can use, as many prayers as she can get. That's for sure. I mean, if the shoe was on any other foot, you sure be wishing people's praying for you, right? You would sure want everybody. You'd want everybody, anyone and everyone you could get to be sending prayers up for you. And you should do, the Bible tells us to do unto others as we would have them do unto us. It doesn't say do unto others as they do unto us. It says do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Right? And you sure would want people praying for you if you were in that situation. So, fold your hands, bow your head, and pray, that everything turns out okay. This ain't something, that I'm sure she's not taking it lightly, and it shouldn't be taken lightly. So, and I hope Daisy, is woken up. I hope she's woken up and understands how important it is to love your family. I hope she understands that, that every second of every day is precious. It's precious. And you don't know, none of us are guaranteed. We ain't guaranteed another day on this earth. Nobody is. You're not guaranteed another minute. None of us are. And every second is precious. Hang on to those seconds. Hang on to the people you love and treat your family with the utmost respect. God made people a family. He made you a family to watch over one another, not to shit on each other, not to screw each other over, not to hate on one another or to be envious, jealous, or any other way. He made you a family. You were born into a family for a reason. It was to watch over one another, to be close, to say, I love you, and mean it. You're supposed to be there for them, and they're supposed to be there for you. It's a two-way street. That's what family does. They don't mess each other over. You couldn't, a good family, you couldn't talk them into doing wrong to their brothers or sisters, mother or father, grandparents. You couldn't talk them into doing nothing. Matter of fact, they turn on you. They would turn on you if you asked them to do anything bad to their own blood. Right? They'd say, oh, hell no. I do nothing to my family for nobody. They're there for me and I'm there for them, and I'm going to keep it that way. Family's supposed to be, tight. They're supposed to, unbreakable for one another. They're supposed to stand strong. A lot of them don't. A lot of families crumble. They crumble because they let evilness seep in and destroy the foundation. It's sad, but it happens every day. But I hope Daisy's holding her sister close. I hope she's holding her tight. And I hope she's telling her that everything will be okay and that she's there for her. Thick or thin, hell or high water, she's there for her. Jinkies is going to need someone. She's going to need somebody to be there. And I just hope that Daisy's the one there for her. You could tell Jinkies looks at Daisy as a parent figure, like a mother figure. Older sister, take care of me. And I hope Daisy does the right thing by her sister. Right? That's my wish. And my prayer. But I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on, to keep the prayers going up, keep them going up. I know we're all dealing with our own issues, right? All of us are dealing with, we're all dealing with shit. I'd be the first to tell you, we're all dealing with shit. But I'm going to tell you what we're dealing with will get better if we only learn how to have mercy, kindness, caring, and love. We only learn how to pray for others the way we want to be prayed for. Everything would get better for everybody if we could just learn to do that, right? It sure will. And I don't have to believe that, because I know it's true. I know it is true. I know there's a God above us. I know his Son sits at the right hand of him. I know the Holy Spirit's down here within us, upon us, just like the light of Jesus Christ is within us as well. I know angels are watching over us. And I know whatever we ask in the name of Jesus Christ, we will be given without a doubt, because he loves us. And God loves us even more. And everything will be okay if we just believe. Right? Just believe. That's all it takes. But I'm going to get back. I'm going to get off of Nancy's case because it's simmering. It's definitely simmering down. I hope she's found. Right? I pray every day. I pray every day that these missing people's cases are solved. I pray every single day that God is just with us, helping us, doing what it takes to make everything better. It's sad. It's a sad world, man. We live, people want to talk about depression, anxiety. Look what the fuck we're living in. Look what kind of world we're surrounded by. It feels like you're surrounded by more freaking evil than you are good. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. If you agree that you feel like you are surrounded by more evil than good in this world, put a 1. Because I sure the hell do. When you got to keep your damn doors locked, when you got to lock your doors to run to the bathroom, take a mother freaking piss, that's bullshit. Why are you locking your doors? Because you're afraid. What are you afraid of? Fucking evil showing up, fucking evil walking in. That's what you're afraid of. That's why you keep your doors locked, your windows shut, your phone by you all the time, right? That's why you hear one noise, you're out there looking. Because this world just seems to be wicked. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're outside with all the kids. They're all playing, they're all having a good time. And you want something to drink, right? Your water bottle or whatever just ran dry. You need something to drink. Everybody has to come in the house. Everybody has to come in so you can, reload up on some drinks and stuff. And then everybody can go back out. But everybody has to come in. Why? Why does everybody got to come in? Because it ain't safe. It ain't safe to leave them out there. It is not safe to leave them unattended for even 1 fucking minute. Not 1 minute can you leave them unattended. Why? Because you know what can happen. You know what can happen in that 1 second. You know. Something evil, something bad can happen. And you should have been there. That's why. Because you don't want to blame yourself for the rest of your damn life for running in the house to get a bottle of water and something bad go down. That's why you bring them all in. Right? And you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to. You pay tons of taxes. You pay tons and tons of tax money for law enforcement, for court systems, for judges, for penitentiaries, jail houses. You pay tons of money for all of this stuff so your community can be safe. So your community could be safe to open your windows, open your doors, and allow people to be able to be outside without bad shit happening. You pay all that money, but yet your doors are shut. Your windows are locked. And if you're outside, you have to bring all the kids in order to get some water before you go back out, right? What are you paying for? What the hell are you paying for? You're supposed to be paying for protection. You're supposed to be paying for protection that you're not getting. Matter of fact, you're paying for a hell of a lot of things in this world that you're not getting. You're paying for better roads and you're hitting potholes all the time. Right? You're paying for good schools and all you got is a bunch of shit. That's my opinion. I'll keep it. You're paying for your like I said, you're paying for your communities to be safe and they're very unsafe. Right? What are you paying for? People need to stand up and fucking start making some phone calls and asking what the hell they're paying for. Because you sure ain't getting none of it. And if you ain't getting none of it, then you want a refund. You want a refund. It's like going to a restaurant. It's like going to a restaurant, paying a check, and you didn't even get a meal. Right? Are you going to go to a restaurant and pay for a meal that you didn't get? You know, you walk in, you sit down, you order, and then they bring you a check and they want you to pay it. And you say, hey, where's my food? I ain't had no food yet. You want food? Really? What the hell you think this is? A restaurant? Pay the check, man. Get out of here. Yeah, it said restaurant outside. Of course I thought it was a restaurant. Well, you're wrong. Get out. How would you feel? How would you feel? Would you go back? No. Well, that's pretty much, that's pretty much what's happening to you. And here's another thing that I wonder about. Just being off topic. We're off topic right now. But why do senior citizens have to pay for school taxes when they have no children going to school? Why does people who don't have kids have to pay school taxes when they don't have no kids going to school? Why does people have to pay for things they don't have? Right? I mean, okay, people who don't have kids, I can understand. Okay, because they're young, they're working, and they could probably, the few taxes they take, okay, whatever. I'm going to let that go. But now you got these senior citizen people, they're on a fixed income, right? They're on fixed incomes. They can barely afford their medicine, right? Barely afford their medication, barely afford to live on what little they get. And here they have to pay taxes. They have to pay taxes for kids going to school when they paid all their life for these kids, while they was working, they paid out their whole life. Why do they got to keep paying? Why do they got to keep paying property taxes when they paid their whole life property taxes and everything? And finally, they're retired where they should be able to own whatever they got. They should be able to own it until they die. They ain't got a whole lot of time left as it is. Why don't they give them a break? Why do they got to keep paying taxes? Why does people not ever rightfully own what they worked their asses off to own? Why does the government still seem to own it instead of the person who worked their ass off to get it and pay for it while paying all them taxes too? And it's a never-ending process. I'm just wondering. These are, this is stuff that makes you wonder. This is stuff, that brings tears to your eyes when you're sitting in your aunt's house who's retired and, and watching her, the worry on her face, the sting of tears in her eyes, talking about how, she might have to downsize. She might have to do this. She might have to do that because, everything is so much and her other spouse is already gone. So she ain't got no help there. And she doesn't know what she's going to do. Why do you have to go through that shit with your loved ones when they shouldn't even be paying for none of that stuff to begin with? Right? Exactly, Anna. Exactly. Or, I have nothing against property taxes. I have nothing against property taxes as long, like, okay, most people start working at what? 16, 17 years old. They start paying taxes. At 16, 17, they're paying taxes. And they pay that taxes all the way up until they're freaking 65 years old, right? All the way up until they retire. 65. Once they hit 65 and, and they raised a family, they worked their whole lives, they paid into all of these things, why should they have to keep paying? Why can't they finally outright own, don't have to pay nobody nothing anymore until they pass away and the house goes into someone else's name? Why can't they not have to pay that? Why can't they, put that money on their medicine, put that money, on their co-payments at the doctors? Why can't they put that money on some extra food for themselves? Why can't they have a little bit of real life before they die? I don't know. It's a question. It's a question. And it's a question for them politicians. It's a question for, somebody making $200,000 a year and somehow they become million and billionaires. They're only supposed to be making $200,000 a year and they become billionaires once they get in office. They end up owning 10 houses, 15 cars, fucking freezers full of ice cream, right? It just sounds to me like, that's why the roads ain't getting fixed, and that's why your doors ain't open, your windows thrown to the top, and everything ain't safe. You know, the schools don't have the best teachers, or the best buildings, or the best of anything. Because that money ain't being allocated where it's supposed to go. Sounds to me like it's being allocated somewhere else, where everybody else's life is going to shit. And everybody else is the one that owns this country. Everyone else is the one that built it. Everyone else is the ones that's supposed to be living the American dream, not the politicians, right? Just saying. Yeah, this just questions I have when I'm sitting around thinking. Actually, when I'm sitting around hearing my aunt, my aunt feel and wonder how, she's going to be able to keep what little she has when so much is getting taken away. And she's not the only one. She's not the only one. I hear a lot. I hear a lot of older people talk about it. A lot of older people talk about it. And what bothers me is they all have the same look on their face. They all have this worried, like this real fucking something the old person shouldn't have. That's what people look like when they have to work their damn asses off every single day to make ends meet at the end of the week, right? Or bi-weekly. That's what your face is looking like when you hit Wednesday and you ain't getting paid till Friday, and you're needing gas and you don't know how you're going to get it put in your vehicle, right? That's the fucking look on your face. It's the look on your face, when you have to make doctor's appointments and you don't got enough gas money and you don't know where it's going to come from. That's the look that you got, when your baby's sick and you're worried. But no old person should have that look. Old people should, they just should get to live life for a while. They should get to smile about everything like a child. They should get to smile about everything. Let somebody else worry about it. Give them a break. Give them a damn break. That's what I'm talking about. But none of us going to be getting a break. I hear our good president, Donald Trump, right? Our good president. And don't get me wrong, I love Trump. I do. I'm a sucker for Trump. I love the guy. And if you don't, that's okay. That's okay. I always agree to disagree. I don't even disagree. I just say, that's somebody else's, choice. And I respect that. I respect people's choices in this world. And it's okay with me. I'm not going to argue about who likes who or anything like that. It's because, I like Biden too. I felt sorry for the man. you know? But the point being is, right now they got a lot of stuff going on over in Israel, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you're keeping up with what's going on in Israel, over in the Middle East. Yeah, and it's not good. It's not good, you guys. It's like Trump has got stuff going with so many different people, and he's got everybody up in the air. He's got everybody up in the air. And I'm going to tell you something. You got to have a strong foundation. You got to have a strong foundation, or whatever you build upon, it will not stand. You have to have a strong foundation. And right now, we do not have a strong foundation, because you can't start trouble. You can't start trouble all over the place and expect to have a strong foundation. I mean, he's got too many arms. He's got too many arms in the fire, and it's like out of control. That's my opinion. I'm going to keep it. I mean, I don't know if Trump has ever heard the phrase, right? Choose your, choose your fights wisely. Pick your fights wisely. I don't know if he's heard that phrase, but he should have. He should have. I mean, because I don't feel there's anything wise about all the chaos and all the shit going on right now. I don't think there's nothing wise about it. It can get dangerous. It can get very dangerous. Just saying. And a lot of people, we're talking about people's lives. I stand behind Israel 150%. That's God's people. And I stand with God. I have to stand with this people, right? If I stand with God, I got to stand with God's children. You have to. I'm not going to be a traitor. I'm not going to be no traitor to my God. I got to stand, I got to stand where I stand. And I do stand with God, and I stand with all of God's children. Israel is his children. And, but a lot of people's lives, is at stake. And on both sides. I'm going to tell you something. Does anybody really win? Does anyone really win in a fight? Is there any winners? I don't think so. I don't, just because you come out a little better on top doesn't mean you won. Because somehow you lost. Somehow you lost as well. Right? That's how it is. I don't know. I'm going to tell you what, every fight that I ever was in, every fight I've ever been in, people always, oh, you won. Yeah. Well, you freaking tell the blows that I took that, right? Tell all the places that I happened to get hit that I won. Tell the hair on my fucking head that got pulled that I won. You go ahead and you tell all of that. Tell the scratches on your face how you won. It doesn't matter. You know, who cares if you broke somebody's nose? Who cares if you gave them better than you got? You still knew your ass was in a fight. Was it worth it? I don't know. The only thing I seen worth it was that the person didn't want to fight you again. It's the only thing I ever seen that was worth it. Is they didn't want round two. That's the only thing I ever seen. Just saying. I have a lot of friends, you know, I see from time to time. I have some of them say, you remember when we was in school? I wish I could have been more like you. And I was thinking of myself, no, I wish I could have been more like you. I wish I would have hit the door running all the way fucking home and saved myself from the damn bullies like you did. You know, you don't have, you don't have war wounds to talk about. Your ass ran. I should have followed. Right? That's what I think. They were the real winners. The ones that hit that door running, got their ass home and safe, they were the real winners. They might not think they was, but they was. They don't know. They don't know how big of a winner they were. I'd be the first to tell them. The people aren't angry. You know, the fight, I think when it comes to the bullies, I think when it comes to bullies, like the ones that pick on people because they think they can, I think it's due to something at their home life. I think, some kind of trauma, some type of trauma, manifested in their home life that caused them to be the way they are. And I think a lot of times, a lot of fights occur out of jealousy, out of enviness, out of just pure evil hatefulness. You'd be surprised at how many most of the time, for me in middle school and high school, most of the fights that I got into was because of jealousy. I had to fight because, the girl was jealous. She thought shit in her head that wasn't true. Little do you know who's jealous of you. But most of the time it was over jealousy. They thought that, a certain person, somebody they liked you, and they were jealous of you. And if they couldn't, if they were afraid to fight you, they'd go find somebody, some big sister or an older friend that, they would try to get to go at you. A lot of times I had a girlfriend. Every time I turned around, I was having to fight this certain person for like a whole year, like a whole freaking year. This one certain person just would not leave me alone. And here I find out that it was my best friend, my very best friend that I hung around with all the time, was very good to, was the one getting them to pick on me. I couldn't ever understand that, but I guess it was a lesson learned, you know. And here I had no idea. I had no idea that she was behind it. And the reason she was behind it was because of pure jealousy. Pure jealousy, nothing more, nothing less. Just jealous. And she had no reason to be. None whatsoever. But she was. So, and I was dating a guy. I was actually going out and dating a guy that had, that literally, had, was trying to have me set up to be attacked and stuff. And I had no idea that he was doing that. No idea at all. But one of the girls, liked me and told me. Matter of fact, he took me somewhere one day where this particular girl was, that's supposed to have some beef with me. And when I showed up, she was there. I seen her. I knew her. And I talked to her. And here he was looking for this fight to break out. And she wasn't going to do it. And she told me, she said, you know why? She said, you know why I'm here? And I said, no. Probably like everybody else to have a good time. She said, no. She said, I showed up here because the guy you're with set you up. I'm supposed to be going at you. I said, what? And she said, yeah. She said, but I'm not going to, go at you because I like you. But I just wanted you to know. Yeah, the guy I was with, and I don't even know why he did that. I have no idea to this day why he did that. Just goes to show you. You could be wearing evilness on your arm. You could have that evilness right next to you, thinking that you love it. Lesson learned. A lesson learned not to trust no one, right? Exactly. Exactly, Lisa. I agree. I agree with that too. I agree with that. A lot of parents now are. A lot of parents. If your child messes up, you will. A lot of times the parents do end up uncharged, and they have to pay restitution for their child being like that. That's absolutely right. And I agree with that 150%. Absolutely. I agree. It should be. You know, parents are responsible for their children. You can either raise your children right or you can raise them wrong. You'd be surprised at how many people. I was somewhere today and there was a parent. A parent had like a 4 or 5 year old child with them. There was a lot of strangers, like a lot of strangers at this particular place that me and my daughter went to. And I didn't even take my baby. I would not take my baby. I had my baby being watched while me and my daughter attended this certain affair, and there was a lot of strangers there. I mean, there's people, like a lot of strangers. Matter of fact, most everybody strangers. And anyway, the lady showed up. She had the child with her, 4 or 5 years old. And this particular child, she just she just walks away. This mother just walks away, goes completely in a whole different area of this place. The child is left unattended. I'm Me and my daughter we're standing in the area where the child was, along with a whole lot of other strangers and everything. And this child is just, even my daughter, she's like, where'd the mother of that kid go? I said, I don't know. And I didn't know because she went somewhere else. And my daughter's like, there's a lot of strangers in here. I said, I know. And she's like, well, what are we going to do? I said, what? It's not our kid. I said, it's not our kid. What am I supposed to do, hon? And my daughter's like, well, I guess we stand here and talk for a little while, Mom. I said, yeah, we can do that, you know. And my daughter's standing there and standing there and standing there and there's other people, right? There's other people expecting us to, move around, social lives and move around and we're not moving around and people's coming up and so forth and so on. And to be honest with you, it's getting a little awkward. My Because my daughter wants to babysit, this child, and I don't want nothing to happen to this child as well. And anyhow, finally, the mother comes back, and the child, she doesn't address her child or anything. She's talking on the phone. She's talking on the phone. She's texting. She's doing like every fucking thing, but watching this kid. And then the child finally gets behind her and starts to follow her, right? And she don't even notice that the child's behind her or following her or anything. And then we were able to move around, at that point me and my daughter was able to, okay, we can move around a little. And next thing we know, this lady, comes by and she turns around because the little kid's still following her, right? That's his mommy. She's still being followed. And she turns around and jumps all over this child like really freaking mean. And I'm like, wow, you're supposed to be watching this child, this is your child. You're supposed to be watching it. Why are you hollering at it? because, it picked up something, or, holding something or doing something that you don't approve of, and I tell you what the kid did. The kid got some, I don't know where the child found, when the child went following mom off somewhere, the kid found like a marker or something and got some on it. Some kind of dirt or something. Anyway, finally when she decided to pay attention, she got all pissed off at the child because it had something, on it. And I was like, oh my gosh. And she made a big to do. Like everyone. There was people, coming out other areas to look. And I'm like, wow. I felt like saying, I really wanted to step up and say, shut up. You should have been watching this child. Me and my daughter, because of my daughter, we stood here for over 30 freaking minutes. Don't know where you were, but we know where your child was. There's tons of strangers here, and we're sitting here making sure that none of them walk away with your kid because your ass ain't watching your own child. And then finally, when you pay attention to it, you're surprised that it got into something. What the fuck? That's what I wanted to say. But seeing that, it was an affair where you don't do that kind of stuff. I had to be responsible and nice when I didn't really want to be. But you will be surprised at how many people, just let their kids just raise themselves basically, right? Their kids raise themselves basically. And then they, I don't know how this kid turned out the way it did. Well, it turned out the way it did because you did not watch and take care of it. You did not, raise it in the way you wanted it to go. And that's why it ain't going the way you expected. Right? I could tell you the problem, but yeah, that child, Dreamcatcher, that child is, I'm going to tell you, pray for that child. Pray for that child, because you know what? That child's going to need your prayers. It is. It's going to need everybody's prayers. These are children, I just pray that this child, makes it to adulthood. I pray it does. The way the mother wasn't taking care of it, wasn't watching it, wasn't even, addressing it until, it finally got some dirt or something on it. I don't know. I don't know what to say, it was a, an affair that, with very respectable, high class, respectable people, gathering together, in a respectable way. And she just wasn't, she was, everything but respectable. And if you bring a child to something like that, then you need to attend to that child. You need to be watching it. You need to be holding it. You need to be, you need to do, you just don't leave a child unattended like that in a place, a place that has that many different, different humans and that many different strangers. You just don't do it. But I didn't stay long. Um, I didn't stay long after that. I just wanted to really, to be honest, I didn't want to go, and I really didn't want to stay, and I didn't very long. I made my appearance and kind of excused myself out as soon as I could, and to get back home with my family. And that's right. That's right, Dreamcatcher. Exactly. I would not, any way, form, or how, took my baby to anything like that. I wouldn't have took any younger children to something like that. Um, Absolutely not. You don't take little kids to anything like that. You leave them with a sitter. You leave them with someone, a very trusting person that will take care of your child like you would, and you know that's it. But anyway, um I just wanted to come in tonight. I wanted to talk about the red truck. I wanted to you know discuss how that red truck happened to be in four different places, same exact color, same exact truck. What's the odds? What's the odds? Um, it sounds like another game. It sounds like a game to me. And, Robin got to check it off the list. She got to check it off the list. You know, Game over. And I think it was a game. When she checked the list, I think it was a game. And that showed it was a game. I think it was a very sinister game in a little girl's missing case, Summer Moon Utah Wells. But in my opinion, it's the same truck, and it's just been shifted around, um, to the point that law enforcement can't find it, you know. And as someone in here said, you know, Robin's gotten rid of it now. It's even gone from them. So, and took to another state. Supposedly took into another state. So there you go. Oh yeah, I love being able to come in and see everybody and hang out with everybody, and it's quite nice to be able to I'd like to get in here a lot more. I would love to be in here a lot more, and hopefully little man's getting a little older, taking a little more milk, sleeping a little bit longer, and you know so I don't have to stress and worry, right? I don't have to stress and worry as much. And hopefully I can start coming back in every night, and possibly even earlier. I'm hoping to be able, to get in earlier in the evening. Um, that's my hope. Don't hold me to it. I'm a night owl. Don't hold me to it, but I'm definitely going to try. I'm going to try. Oh, he is adorable, Dreamcatcher. He is so adorable. He's got the cutest little smile you have ever seen. He's so lovable. He is absolutely lovable. Yeah, I love my baby. I do love my baby. That is the truth. And I love, oh, and let me tell you guys, um, because I went out and I bought all kinds of newborn clothes, right? As we do, newborn everything. And baby shower, newborn everything, right? Everybody brings you all those little adorable outfits. And guess what? None of them fit him. None of them fit him now. Like nothing. Absolutely nothing. Fits him. So I had to go out and shopping. I had to go out shopping and get him all new clothes. I've been ordering and going out and picking up a whole slew of new clothing. Everything that I had for him, nothing fits him. I kept the outfit that I brought him home, from the hospital in. I kept it, put it in his treasure box, along with, all the other little stuff you get at the hospital, and little, keepsakes, and his baby book and all of that. I got all of that in a little treasure chest. And the rest of the clothing, and let me tell you, the baby bathtub, he don't even fit in that thing. He don't even fit in it. I didn't know what I was going to do, because he would like kick the bottom part of the bathtub, and his head would hit the top. And that bathtub, this particular bathtub, cost like, I think it was $60 or $70. It was the one that, it's got the temperature, and you put a one in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. It's that expensive one that tells the temperature of the water and all, and all the stuff. And anyway, and it's like really small. It's, I don't know what you paid for, because you can't use it. Practically, you bring the baby home, and it barely fits in there when you bring it home. But anyway, it's made really small. So the bathtub and everything. But I went and donated a ton of stuff. I just went and donated it. I'm like, I can't keep it around. What am I keeping it for? And my husband's like, what are you doing with all that stuff? I said, I'm going to go donate it, because the baby don't fit in none of it. And he's like, what if we have another one? I was like, what? He's about to get himself thrown out, right? He was about to get thrown out right then and there. Like, we need a divorce. You got to go. Right? I'm like, don't, at this stage right here, you don't even, those are the last words you want to say at this stage. I mean, I've been up all night for I don't know how long. And, no. Oh, hell no. Don't even think about that. But yeah, not for PG. Not for PG. I can't do another one. Just, I'm going to tell you what, my husband's lucky that I didn't name our son no more. I could have named him no more. That's what he better be lucky about. Another one? I don't think so. Oh, hell no. Don't get me wrong. I love our baby. And I wouldn't trade him for the world. I wouldn't trade it for the world. But I'm going to tell you what. Whew, you guys do not know how much I forgot. Um, I was thinking to myself, either this baby's different, or I totally forgot what having a baby was like. You know, it didn't seem. I don't remember staying up this much with with my other kids. Maybe I did, and I don't remember. But with this little guy, like he's awake. He seems to be awake more than he's asleep. And I'm awake more than I want to be. Oh yeah, Dreamcatcher, it is too soon. I'm about to send my husband packing. I'm about to send his ass a packing. Don't threaten me like that. Right? Don't be threatening me like that. I'm not ready for another one this soon. I ain't got over the shock of of hearing the doctor say you're pregnant. Right? Oh yeah, he's so happy. He is so happy. And just precious, just absolutely, you know, so beautiful, so innocent, so precious. I wish I could keep him like this forever, right? I wish I could keep him, you know, just like he is forever, but he's got to grow up and he's got to meet this evil world, and you got to preparing. You got to preparing for it, right? And I think that's the hardest thing a mother will ever have to do is prepare her children for the world we live in today. I think that's the hardest thing any mother has to do in this world, because you want the world to be a good place for your children. You want the world to be a safe place for your children. And how do you tell your children it's not? Right? It's just horrible. That's depressing. That's depressing, right? And like I said earlier, all of this depression, anxiety, and everything. How could you not be depressed with anxiety in the world we live in today? You know, I understand. I understand all of these people having all these issues. I heard that I heard that Kentucky don't want Ernie, and I heard that that the judge that he's supposed to be getting out. I heard he's supposed to be getting out of jail where he's at. I heard he's supposed to be getting out of jail real soon. I thought he's supposed to already be out, but it might be this coming week. I think it might be like Monday or Tuesday. It's supposed to be this coming week. I heard he's supposed to be getting out of jail. Put a one in the chat if you heard that too. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that Ernie's supposed to be getting out this coming week on his own occurrence, because Kentucky don't want him. They just don't want him. They don't want him shipped. So they're not going to pay for it, and the other place don't have no reason to really be holding him. So that's what I'm hearing. Has anybody else heard that? I don't know. You know, truth is, I don't know. I just know what I'm hearing. But yes, he does need prayers. Ernie does need prayer. I love Ernie. I really do. I love looking at him. He's definitely something to look at. But, he really needs to straighten his life up. He really needs to, Ernie really needs to go to church. That's what Ernie needs. Ernie needs to get some Jesus. He needs to, to get his life turned around and start going in the right direction instead of the wrong direction all the time. Right? That's, he reminds me of someone. I think the reason I like Ernie so well is Ernie reminds me of someone, very close to me that, is no longer alive. And I think I wish I could have did more for that person. And Ernie reminds me so much of him. And I just, I just wish I could do more for Ernie, but you can't help nobody unless they're willing to help themselves, right? No matter what you do, it's not going to change the person till they're ready to change. But I pray that Ernie finds, that Ernie does find God. He finds the Lord, and he, and his life changes, and he goes in the right direction at some point. I really do pray for the guy and hope the best for him. I really hope the best for him. That's true. I hope the best for everyone, and no matter who they are, no matter, no matter if I like them or I don't, you know, I've had some people who've really crossed me in my life, really did me dirty, did me really wrong. And I'm going to tell you something. I hope they're in heaven too. God knows my heart. He knows, I know you guys can't see within PG, but God can. And God knows that, no matter how dirty people's done me, I do pray that they make it, that, somehow their life changes and they make it as well to the better place. The one thing I learned a long time ago is the people that did you dirty, before they done you dirty, you cared about them. You loved them or you cared about them in some way. You cared. At one point, you liked them and you loved them. You cared about them. And even though they done you dirty, you can't just throw love out a window. These people who touch your heart, they're going to always be in your heart. And even though you're upset with them, you're hurt by what they did to you, you just got to pray for them. And you got to, and you just got to hope that they find the Lord and make it to the right place as well, because you want to see them there. I don't wish nobody to go to hell. I really don't. No matter who they are. I hope everybody, everybody makes it to heaven. I hope everybody hopes I make it to heaven. That's the way we should be. That's the way we're supposed to be. And I just say, may God be with us all. I don't hold no animosity towards people in any way, form, or how. It's not worth it. And it hurts us more than it hurts them, right? When you hold hatred and animosity and all that stuff, it destroys you. Those people go on and live their lives and do what they're going to do, and they probably don't even give you a thought. So why are you giving them one, right? Why waste your time and energy on hating them? I don't have time to hate people. I only have time to love them, care about them, and hope they make it too. And just pray that they don't ever do anybody the way that they done me, right? That's the most I can do in this world. And that's the truth. But anyway, PG's going to head out of here. We've been here for a minute, and I'd like to cover more ground than we did tonight. But sometimes we go into outfield, and I ain't seen you guys in a while. So of course I'm going to go into outfield, right? Talking about other things besides just the stuff that to be honest with you, I think it all was kind of depressing tonight. Right? I think it all was. But we'll have better days, better things. Just remember, when before you go to bed tonight, I just want you guys to remember one thing. Can is not sleeping. She's watching you. She's not sleeping, you guys. Right there. She's watching you. I want you to remember that before you go to bed. Take a good look. Take a good look. Right there. Right there. I want you to see it. Right? I don't want to be the only one awake tonight. Right? I had to show you guys that because I don't want to be awake by myself. I want to make sure everybody else don't sleep good either. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. You know it. PG does love you. And I don't ever leave here without asking you, please, keep those prayers going up for Summer, Moon, Utah, Wells. Keep them going up for Nancy. Keep them going up for Michael Vaughn, Sebastian Rogers, Jack and Lily, little Emmanuel. All of these people have not been found. Please keep those prayers going up because God is listening. He's listening. Keep them going up for one another. Family that prays together stays together. Remember that. Keep those prayers going. And know that PG's praying for all of you. It's not that hard to pray for people. All you have to do is say, Lord, I don't know what these people need. I don't know what they want. But Father, you do. And I sure pray in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, that whatever these folks need, whatever they're praying for, God, that all of these prayers are answered. In the name of Jesus, amen. And I want to tell you, you prayed for everybody. That fast, you prayed for everybody. And I tell you what, you might not know it, but you prayed for yourself too. Because God already knew what you wanted. He already knew what you needed. And because you prayed for everybody else, God's going to be answering your prayers. Amen. Good night, everybody. God bless. Much love.